Today on Gamers Couch,
Taverna.
Hello and welcome to the Gamers Table Couch.
Sit down, have a beer, because today it's St. Averna's Day in the Kingdom of Averna, and I guess it's time to get drunk, so get ready.
It's St. Patrick's in Averna, pretty much.
I don't know any Patricks, so maybe it's get drunk. Just get drunk. And
or
memory abilities might.
Yeah. We might have ideas for a drinking game during explaining and talking about this game. So maybe have a beverage handy, and if you don't want to drink alcohol, well, orange juice or coffee, tea, water is fine too, so go ahead, whatever you feel like. By the way, if you're new and you don't know who we are, I'm Sarah, the artist behind Pinselgeschichten and also owner of this channel. And this sweet man next to me, who I'm stroking right now with my hot hands against the cool skin, it's warm, guys, is my husband Daniel, who's also playing board games with me and enjoying the time, I guess, I hope. And, well, he likes to talk board games with me, which is a very cool thing.
You can see that it's warm in here because Sarah is moving gradually more to the right.
Yeah, it's
out of the camera shot.
I'm sorry. You're really radiant. It's like you have cool skin, but you're really hot. I know. But the AC is running there. I'm gravitating towards the AC. Anyway, sorry about that. Like every week, we talk about rules and gameplay first. That's his part to explain to you. Then we talk about what we liked or not liked, and then finish off with funny stories and experiences and a teensy little teaser for next week's Draw for Initiative. If you don't know what that series is, for one, stay tuned. You will see what we're going to tease, and then when you have finished watching this video, go to the channel, subscribe, and look at the playlist Draw for Initiative. It's lots of fun if you like board games. Just saying. Anyway, now my dear, I'm gonna sip the cool water and you can do the explaining, please.
Sure.
Rules and gameplay.
So, as I already said, welcome to the Kingdom of Averna. It's time to get drunk. It's St. Averna's Day. Everybody is having a great time, partying, drinking, spending money, drinking, and...
Drinking.
Actually, you are not the one who's drinking. You're not the consuming part of this festival. You are the hosting part. You are one of the many tavern proprietors who is hosting a variety of drinking competitions that happen across the 5 taverns in Taverna. I'm sorry. Now, as you may already see on the board, there's little taverns here that are just ready to host a couple of guests coming in, and you, as one of the hosts, gets to decide where to put them and how to, well, profit or benefit from your guests the best. You start the game with a little bit of money. In this case, it's 15 coins. And before you can get started at all, you need a little bit of, well, property. Otherwise, you have no reason to host anything. Just because there's building in town where you can get drunk doesn't mean it makes you rich. So let's get started with me buying a property. I have 5 of these property tokens, where I can play one of them now in one of these taverns. If you look closely, the taverns down here have spaces where these tokens go, and they're either worth 1 or 3 victory points, and for the big tavern it's 2 or 4 victory points. And well, I'm sorry to tell you, with all that fantasy going on and getting drunk and this sounding like a good time, in the end it's all about the victory points. You can't avoid them. It's a board game thing. It's all about the victory points.
Let's make the drinking game about all the victory points, so whenever you say victory points, they gotta drink.
Sure.
Whatever your beverage of choice is.
So the bigger tavern gives you 2 or 4 victory points, and the smaller one 1 or 3, and that's just to get you boosted in a good start with whatever you're drinking. So let's say I want to go for, well, a head start. Let me go for the 4 victory points space, and I have to pay 9 coins for that, which I will immediately do. Now Sarah gets to choose.
No, I don't like you anymore.
This is not a real game. Now choose one of the properties.
I still don't like you. That was my thought. I came to, I wanna play some.
You should have had that thought earlier in the first recording, which did not get recorded.
I know, we forgot to. Well, it did record on one camera, not on the other. So I'm going at these 2 spaces, pay 12 in total.
So the first player gets to choose a property, then the next player and so on, and then in counterclockwise order, you get to choose another property. So I get actually to choose my second property last. Also, you're not allowed to have 2 tokens in the same tavern. Since I want to benefit also from a tavern where Sarah might want to put stuff in here, let me pay these 0.43 coins and I get another victory point.
Drink.
So you see on the track outside here, we track how far ahead anyone has gotten, and that's pretty much what gets you set up for the game. You also get 3 spells to use, which are kind of event cards that you can use during your turn or sometimes during another player's turn. We'll take a look at that in a moment. And now, in a regular turn, you get to choose one of these 4 customers standing at the front gates of our, well, établissement, amusement circle, and they want to be, well, seated by you, the host, and that determines who gets what. Also note, at the beginning of the game, the first customer here defines the king's favored race, and the second, the queen's favored. Now, while this sounds racist, it is...
It's just the people's.
It is, kind of. But it'll change over a couple of games, so everybody may be the favorite one. It's not purely because we are pro-orc, but in this case we are pro-orc. I'll get to that at the end of the game, because who is the most popular host with a specific race gets to choose how to win the game first.
Do I get an extra point because my t-shirt has the color of the king's favorite people?
No, you don't. So, starting with my turn, I get to choose one of these customers. I start with our favorite ones, the orcs, and this beautiful orc with this gracious look on his face while trying to eat the meat. At least he's using a fork, so we know he's a civilized orc, if the whatever Krause did not give him away, which is the thing around his neck. I don't know the English word for it.
It's probably going to be in the lower bar. You can see it right now on the screen.
So, since he is of the orcs, I get to pick up one of these red tokens and now have to place them in one of the taverns that are around here. Now, I generally always want to place these in my taverns so I can earn some coin from them, but I don't necessarily have to. But just for the sake of it, let's go with this one.
Good boy.
Where we are both proprietors, so we both get money for that customer who's coming in here. In a 2-player game, both of us get 3 coins. Now, there's another choice to be made here. Technically, you can place them at any table that you want to, but if you place a customer on a table with the same color as himself, he's going to sit with his friends, everybody's having a good time, and your standing with that folk or with that race goes up. So, if I place him here on the red, I get 1 point of popularity with the red guys, or orcs. And that's pretty much it for the placement of the customer. Now, you may notice that these taverns have little special icons down here, and if the customer card has the same icon, you get a special effect through that, and that might consider you to reevaluate where to place him. So if I had instead taken this guy here and placed him here, but that would have been the orange. I see.
With this tavern.
I could have taken this guy here, which also is a red, and can also put in here. And you see there's actually one to choose from on this, and I would choose the book guy, which gives me a new spell at the end of the turn. If you have a beer guy here, you get twice the amount of coin from him. And if you have the lyre here, is it Lyra?
Let's say the musical instrument.
I think so. The harp. The token is called influence, but it's the harp allows you to use one of the dignitaries. Speaking about the dignitaries, so if you placed a customer here in one of these taverns, and that tavern also has a dignitary, you may activate that dignitary. There's 4 of them. We have Globetrotter, we have the Notorious Notary, we have the Princess, and the Ambassadress. As I said, you can only trigger the guy in your tavern, so in my case Globetrotter would be here, and Globetrotter's special ability is that I can spend either 3 coins or 5 coins to upgrade my tavern. You see on the right side there are empty spaces to add additional of these symbols here, and that's how you get more or better options when placing customers. So if I would spend 5 coins to the bank, I get to place the 2 missing icons here, and for covering those up I get 3 victory points each, so that puts me ahead to 11 victory points, which would be a good thing. After using a dignitary, you have to place him into another tavern. Obviously, it makes sense to place him somewhere where you might use him again, or deny someone else from using that dignitary specifically. Now, if I would have placed someone with a harp here and had the harp icon on my tavern, I could use any dignitary, not only the one in my tavern. It's kind of, you have the musical instrument, you have the reach to talk to dignitaries someplace else. So let's take a look at what other dignitaries are there and what they can do. Well, the notary allows you to buy more property. We still have some empty spaces on different taverns, and every player has at least 3 remaining cubes that they can place. So you can just pay for an empty spot, so I could pay 3 coins here to move my property there, or something like that. There's also something else you can do. You can replace a property token and place your own there by paying the price plus 3 coins, and then giving half of that rounded down to the player who owned that previously. Now, you still get the 3 victory points, and the player who stood here before does not lose any, so both of you keep them. But obviously the next time a customer comes in here, only you would be getting money for that customer and not the player who stood here before, because you have to own the property. Who else do we have? Well, we have the Princess, and the Princess allows you to spend either 3, 5, or 7 coins to get some of these royal favor tokens in the center. These get shuffled and there's new coming out, and if you take one you will replace it with some new ones. These give you one-shot special abilities. For example, this gives you a chance to upgrade your customer to also have the beer token on them. So if I would have had that and my bar is fully upgraded and I played that, I get to draw another spell card and also get twice the amount of coin for him coming over here, because now I have the beer symbol here and the beer symbol there. Or there's a symbol here that allows you to place 2 spell cards in your turn instead of just 1, and we'll get to the spell cards soon enough. And so on with different little things here, or just move customers around and score them another time, and doing some interesting cool stuff there. Then, or last but not least, you have the ambassadress, and she's all about being popular, and well, she already looks like the fashionista, so I would assume that she's super popular with the people, and that's why you can pay her 3, 6, or 9 coins to upgrade your popularity on these different tracks, and you can spend them as you want. So let's say you spend 9 coins to get 3 upgrades, you can move 1 for 3, or you can move 3 for 1, whatever you prefer. By the way, as soon as you hit one of these marks, you immediately get the benefit of victory points, one of these
envelopes,
royal favor token, privilege tokens is the name, or a spell card, or plain money. Which is what this game is not about. It's about victory points. So once you have exhausted the royal your dignitary, and that's entirely optional, you also get to play a spell card. Technically, you can do that during your turn, but most of them make sense to play afterwards. And something like this here says, immediately receive 2 coins for each tavern you own with a beer symbol on them. Or I have the Golden Gob, add 1 guild token to a tavern and receive 3 victory points. I still have to pay for this spell, by the way, so this still costs me 2 coins to spend, and you only can play 1 spell per turn, unless you have one of these tokens, which allows you to play a second spell for that turn only. Afterwards, you would discard your token. Some of them are also cards that deny the use of a card for another player. So if you're familiar with the Magic card game, it's like an instant counter. And there's also a curse card in here that the rules tell you to either keep in the game or remove from the game. It's kind of you move it around, and who ends up at the end of the game with this card just loses 3 victory points. We tend not to play with that because it's kind of meh. But that's that. So everybody goes around and invites customers. After your turn, a new customer is revealed. The next player picks one of those customers, and it goes on and on. Say Sarah puts it here, also gains a favor with the blue guys, and then gets money for that. And eventually the taverns fill up. Now, if you're the player who fills up a tavern entirely, you get the privilege token up here, which is also worth a victory point at the end of the game. Alternatively, you can spend 2 of these privilege tokens to immediately activate a dignitary or a second dignitary during your turn, which is, well, powerful. You're still not allowed to use the same dignitary twice, but you get more stuff done because you're privileged. One thing I actually didn't tell you there, because I haven't seen them yet, but you have one here. So this card also has a little mask on it, and the mask is the only symbol you won't find on the tavern. The mask means that if you place those guys, so let's say the blue ones, you can place them as you want, or as I did here, you can place them here and just treat them as any other foe. Or you could replace someone here and throw them out. Why would you do that? Well, you gain the popularity if you're doing this with the folk that you moved out. So in this case, Sarah wouldn't go for the blue ones, but would gain favor with the red ones. Also, this tavern wouldn't be closed off by now. However, if the tavern is already filled up, or let's give the orange ones a chance. If the tavern is already filled up and you replace them with this, you still won't get those privilege tokens. They are really just who who comes first gets them first and then gets to keep them and either pays or uses them for the dignitaries or not. So the game goes on, continues, and depending on player count, every player will end up with 8 or 6 of these customers in front of them. For a 2 or 3 player game, I think, or just a 2 player game, it's 8. And
we had 8, yeah.
Yeah, for the others, it's 6. Otherwise, the game would probably take really long. And after that is done, you get to score. And now, let's say this game progressed a little bit. We have our things here and there and maybe there. So at the end of the game, now we take a look at who has the favor with the king's people. And that's the player to choose first for a scoring track or scoring mechanism. In the center, there's 5 different scoring opportunities that you can use. One says you gain 5 victory points flat, and all your popularity guys go up 1 space. This one here says for every favor or royal favor that you have, and even if you use them, so if you pick one up and use them, you just flip them over, but keep them in front of you to indicate that you have them. So for if you have no royal favors, you get 3 victory points, but if you have 5 in front of you, you get 15 victory points. Same for spells you have cast. If you've cast 5 spells, you get 15 victory points. If you just cast 3 spells, you might get 9. Or how many coins you still have. Or how many of your property tokens you were able to bring out to the board. Now, that's certainly the most interesting and challenging part about this game, because now you have to decide, is it more preferable for you to pick one thing that gives you a lot of victory points and you know that you get a lot of victory points, or do you pick a thing that maybe denies another player a lot of victory points and just gives you a medium amount of victory points? And then the next player, starting with the queen's favor, goes and so on. And in this case, the order, if you're playing with more than two players, is by who is in. So from king to queen, and then top to bottom. I think you get what I mean. In order to pick out these little scoring opportunities. In a 2-player game, you get to choose 2 scoring opportunities, and there the king who has the favor with the king goes first, and who has the favor with the queen goes second. That may be the same player. It's just how things end up.
Nice.
And that's pretty much it. Money isn't necessarily worth points at the end of the game. During the game, you can sell your spell cards for a coin. As I said, so your resources aren't necessarily worth victory points unless you choose that scoring opportunity. However, those privilege tokens, if you don't spend them, are each worth 1 victory point. And who has the most victory points is either drunk or has won the game.
So that would be me. I have won the game. I'm not drunk, but I'm clearly ahead of you.
And an immediate little correction, because I was in doubt, and I was in doubt correctly, kind of, about being incorrect. So that queen token is actually only there for the 2-player game. If you play with more than 2 players, you would just go by the king track, and if you are tied here, then you just go to the right, and who's on top of that track gets the points. But since we are 2, we play with the 2-player rules. Sorry for the confusion, but the idea is the same. You want to be in the king's favor, and then you don't care much about anybody else.
Can you say for how long this game is supposed to take, and age and
so things? This, as you might have guessed, is a game that allows you to host 2 to 5 proprietors. They would do that for 60 to 90 minutes, And they need to be, let me check, 12 pints or higher? Is that? No, it's probably 12 years old.
What's promille?
Yeah.
Because that is what they have to.
That might be the same because it's kind of.
I don't know. It's gonna be in the lower bargain. We're totally bad with. We're super good today because you get a lot of German lessons of the day. Anyway, that was a very nice explanation round, and let's hop into the next section: likes and dislikes. And I guess you want me to start.
Sure.
Since you drink.
I want to drink.
Yeah.
It's warm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is, and it's even warmer outside.
I've been talking.
Yes, and you did so well.
It's warm.
Swarm. Now.
And while you talk, I will hold customers in your face.
Not in my face, because I hate that. When editing, I get in their face. That's fine. Not in my face. I always do this, and it's totally awkward.
Little addition, you might wonder, there's a little player count on these cards. You don't actually use all the customer cards in a 2 or 3 player game. You just move those out that say, for example, 5 or I think 3 plus is or 2 plus, 4 plus. So you just move those out that exceed your amount of players.
And now, likes and dislikes. So for one thing that I always have, honey, I'm gonna slap you so hard. It really bugs me when I'm editing. It's so awkward and it's uncomfortable. Anyway, don't hold them in my face. One thing that I'm always looking for is nice quality and great artwork in any kind of a board game, because that's just, well, it's just so lovely to have something nice to look at, something that is pretty, or the art is well executed, something, or you touch the game and it's really nicely made. You don't have to be super careful to not bend anything or stuff like that. So with this game here, it's a totally achieved goal with all of that. The components are super sturdy, and I really like that. I do like the color scheme that they chose, and it actually really reminds me of 2 other games. One of them being Alchemists and the other one being Lords of Xidit. And that is probably because of the orange, green and yellow, not yellow, blue, the other yellow. The blue in this game, it's pretty much the same colors than it is in Lords of Xidit. The artwork, the style of the cards and stuff is very close to Alchemists, and it really reminded me of that, and I liked that a lot. It's we bought that last year, right? Yeah, and it was the time that this color scheme was very popular, and I mean, it's some of my favorite color combinations, so it's a big plus for me. Another thing that I like is that I feel this game is scaled very well. So once in a while, or well, actually more often than not, you might have the feeling that the 2-player game is just a version of the actual game, and they try to make it good, but sometimes it's not as good as the game with the player number that it was built for or supposed to be played with. In this case here, I cannot feel the difference. This is really nice with 2 players, and it also scaled well with 3 players, so I liked that a lot. I liked that you could be really aggressive with this game and push people out of the tavern of your opponents, or you could be like playing around each other almost and be more the passive and not aggressive player and still get victory points drink. And I liked that a lot. One thing that I didn't like, but that is with very many games that are competitive, and we're going to go about that in a bit more detailed in the experiences is when you play with 3 players. There is the possibility that you can team up consciously or subconsciously, and that is not a lot of fun. So I actually prefer this game with even amount of player numbers, and I think we haven't played it with 5, but I think it's not as bad with 5 in terms of the teaming up than it is with 3, because there is nobody else that could maybe help you out with 3. With 5, you might have a buddy that's also not doing maybe that well on the victory track drink, and so I'm not really liking the opportunity of having this aggressive team up thing going on. But that is the only minor. It's like kind of a thing. It's not really. It is like it's like
I mean, it's worth pointing out that
it's not stopping me from
playing with 2. You could technically not move out someone else out of a property to do that. But with the more players you play, the higher the chances are that you actually have to do that to get any property and to do something. Because obviously there's only 10 places to put your tokens on.
But are there more taverns on the 4 players side?
I don't think so. Actually, let's
see.
Let's check while you still talk about things you like. I'll do the flipping.
Okay. Well, that's actually the major things. I really liked the 2-player game, and I'm on the verge. I'm not there yet, but I'm on the verge of saying I do prefer the 2-player game over the more players game, because again, sometimes I'm really in the mood for an aggressive game, but then I could play Star Wars Armada with him, but if I'm not in the super aggressive mood when it comes to playing, you have a chance to really play around each other and both nonetheless battle and really fight for those victory points drink. And I liked that a lot, and I think I do like the maybe calmer, more strategic, less aggressive way of playing Taverna more than the aggressive, I'm gonna kick you out of the tavern, this is my beer kind of a way to play, which you can also do.
So to answer your question, here you only get into a scarcity of areas with 3 players, and here you have more spots, although the 4th spot is only unlocked with 5 players. Yeah. But I mean, it's I think it's the general idea is that probably if you're playing with 3 or more, probably 3 or 5 players, that the fighting over properties and replacing properties
way
is
more.
the same. Also, I think none of us actually has played it that way, but technically you could see those properties as ways to convert money into victory points. Drink. By just keeping on replacing and then scoring these, saying, hey, at this point, whenever I spend 6 coins, I get 3 victory points, which is also a valid way. Actually, it's not 6, but it's you would pay 9 to get there. But which is a valid way, considering that money technically could be worth nothing to you, or at least money will only be worth to one player anything at the end of the game.
And if you keep in mind, even if you collect a lot of money while you are playing, if you don't get the king's favor and you're not the one to choose first, it's very likely that your opponents will steal that opportunity of scoring from you. So,
well, if they have a lot of coins, or if you have...
It's very if I have them and you have the king's favor and you see that I have a lot of coins, because that is open information, you will very, very likely somehow get that not be scoreable for me.
The scoring opportunities at the end obviously are way easier to parse if you are in a 2-player game.
Yes.
With a 5-player game, you could sit down and then go through all the possibilities, and then everybody at some point has to pull out a notepad and start writing down the optimal distribution and make the perfect choice, but
that's not the point.
I think that's not in the spirit of the game. And you should be drunk at that point anyway, so you should just
drunk on water.
True.
Yeah, but all in all, I very much liked this game. There were a lot of moments. Well, with the spell cards, they're a nice addition to me, but I never had that spell card as my main way of gaining points. So I only have so much of an opinion to it. You played way more with that. I tried other things. But yeah, it's still nice that it's there, and you have kind of like the Exploding Kittens Nope card in there that is totally cool. But all in all, I really like this game, but I think unless we have an experience that is like so much over the top with more than 2 players, I will prefer this one as a 2-player game for us, because it's also kind of quick to play. It didn't feel like a 60-minute game.
It is surprisingly quick to get started with. In fact, since you essentially just have to explain one turn and then you just keep going while still offering sort of deep gameplay. And this is one of the few games that essentially just hits you right into the face with saying, these are the 5 ways to win the game. You don't necessarily get to score that way, but that's kind of the really interesting part of this game. So I guess you're done with. So my absolute favorite thing about this game is the idea of having these popularity tracks in conjunction with choosing how you score the game, who wins at the end or who does not win. You kind of want to maximize your efforts in one of the areas, but only if you can guarantee that you get to choose first. And I didn't mention that, but if you are on the first place or on the top place of any of these popularity tracks, you are the only one to go there. No other player may go there. That's why it says 1x here. And also you get victory points either added or deducted or deduced. If deducted.
Deduce is crime.
It's deducere in any way, but you get those.
Taken away.
You lose victory points if you're standing.
And by the way,
that's
drink.
That's a reason for not being a racist too much.
Not at all would be nice.
So I do like that, and also how split up these are, which at least to me makes the game feel interesting. And I was a little bit confused or didn't give the game enough credit the first time we played it, because I felt like there's a better way to score points, because these little you gain victory points for owning property, you gain money for owning property, you get to put these things here and gain. So it seems like the taverns are the important part, but that's not necessarily true to win the game. And this is something I actually do like. And one of the examples there would be the major example against it would be the spells, where you don't necessarily have to do a lot in the taverns as long as you get to play 5 cards across those 6 turns that you're playing, or 8 if you're playing the 2-player game. Or if you don't have enough chances to up your popularity, this becomes quite powerful. You don't get the bonus by moving these up here for that last added thing, but yeah, it's still good. Same for the royal favors. While they also allow you to score, they typically have some really, really good things that you can do with it, like free upgrades to the bars, or you get a popularity upgrade to one of the people that are on there, which to me makes it quite interesting. So the taverns and the customers and all that assignment stuff is really just part of the game, a means to an end, similar to what money is in this game. And that is something I do like very much. In fact, I have to say it also reminds me of another game, but
which one?
Just in passing, and it's not...
By looking at it or by playing it? Because playing it was totally different, but looking at it did Alchemist.
Neither. When I first saw this and we picked this up, I immediately had this kind of... This is probably one of those taverns where the Red Dragon Inn is taking place.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of what I think about if I see these characters moving in, which is kind of the meta game to all these taverns where
that's
all these little things happening in here, which also adds to the flavor and the feeling of the game. And yeah, I have to say...
Also, Gok hungry.
Although Gok is, I think, a troll, isn't he?
Yeah.
Not an orc.
No, he's an orc.
Is he? Sure. I forgot.
I think he's an orc.
See how well memory works if you drink every day? Or the victory points.
Drink.
And yes, I have to say this. It has a cool artwork. It's... I would agree it's a style. If I wouldn't know any better and someone would have showed me this game, I would have said, it could be a yellow published game.
Almost.
Or I don't know what is Lots of Zidit. Was it from Yellow? I just see the yellow on the
No, it was not, I think Stronghold Games?
No, I don't think so.
No.
It's not Stronghold.
I can go look. Play.
It's not super important, but yeah, that's the kind of look of I would almost say the look of 2015 Essen.
Yeah, I was kind of pissed off, but then again, can you read who the artist is? Because I don't have the glasses on. Because I was wondering if the artist was the same one then with Lots of Zidit or with Alchemist.
I will look.
Yeah, look,
the people here.
Folks. Entertain them.
Get something to drink.
Oh, you entertain them.
And I'll show you some of the dignitaries so you get a better idea of them. Now that Sarah's not here, I can put them up in your face.
I still hear you.
Where's
Whoops.
It's great because you threw the quite expensive stuff around.
I didn't throw.
You did. It's just glass and electronics. So. Stuff that is super durable.
It's where's Alchemist? That's upstairs. I cannot look because...
Welcome to our household. So, after this tiny interlude that certainly tested your patience, or you could have just skipped a couple of minutes ahead. So, Libelud is the publisher. It probably says the artist on the thing. So here...
It really reminded me, color scheme here.
So this Taverna is by Jonathan C.N. Hartert.
Illustration. How could I forget? It's my favorite artist.
So it's Naite.
Yeah. Oh. And Stefan yes, he's one of my favorite. Xavier. I'm not gonna say the other name because I can't. Is one of my favorite board game artists.
But yeah, this feels like a little bit like
Jonathan. Okay.
The artwork you would find in Tokaido, Lots of Zidit, or
and also the Big Book of Madness is pretty much this. So it just reminded me of that. Mm-hmm. Hence, I thought, maybe it's the same artist working on that.
Those are all games where we adore the art very much. So. That's a
good thing that it reminds us of that games.
Yeah.
Just saying. Did you say everything that you liked about?
I think so. I'm trying really hard to come up with something that I didn't like, but since the game doesn't overstay its welcome and it's fairly quick to play for what it is. Now you could say, well, it's just an area control game and there's not much backstabbing. You have a little bit of backstabbing through the spells and sometimes through the just taking away spaces or trying to claim property that someone else wanted to claim. You still get in each other's way a surprising amount of time. If that isn't something for you, it's not as tame as some of the Euro worker placement games might be in regards to denying someone else. This feels a little bit more like, hey, I'm taking something away from you, or I'm moving this to a tavern and you don't get any money because you're not part of that tavern. You don't have any property there. But it's all right. It's fine for that game.
Yeah. Shall we rate?
Sure.
1, 2, 3. I'm having not even, it's like a tenth of a little bit because of the 3-player, but it's super minor. It's still not the awesomest awesome.
I give it a full thumbs up because that is actually, if you have more players, you get more in the way of each other, and I think that is what the game tries to be, and I'm fine with that. So, yeah,
I'm fine with 4 and 5. But the 3, let's talk about funny stories and experiences and talk a bit more in depth of what we experienced with 3. And the thing is, I guess the game is designed for you consciously being in the face of the other players, but pushing somebody out and sidelining him subconsciously, which we did with 3 players. We only realized that super late that we... Yeah, that is why it's like, and that is why it has a smidge of less than awesome. But we had a game with the 3 players, and oh yeah, thank you. Oh. There was Tina. So Tina, Daniel, and I, we played. We were here, and I was... Can you give your thingy there? So this is the 3 taverns that I remember Tina and I had. You were here, but you could also only have one of the cubes, and... You know, you can see all of the colors are in this tavern, so we kind of focused on that one. Here's no red and orange, and there is no blue and red. So let's say mid-game, not in the beginning so much, but he didn't get any money at all because we gravitated towards the spaces that were available, and they were our taverns.
At least, except when it was my turn. But there were like
it was
2 to 3 rounds. So let's say 4 to 6 turns where only you guys were getting money. I wasn't getting. Now you might say, well, didn't you say something about moving in here and doing that? Well, first off. For that thing to happen, you either have to have the heart or you need to have the notary close to some space there. Obviously, if those guys just move around here, they will place the dignitaries in these spaces that are in their taverns. There's only space for 2 VIPs or 2 dignitaries in each tavern, but that's still enough to usually shift them around. Also, my only way to get in here would be to buy out the property from someone else. But since they've been kind of gaining all the money and I'm only getting whatever 2 coins here, or maybe 4 if I'm lucky, it's actually quite difficult to get in there.
So and we didn't do that consciously. It was the first game, so we were pretty much just trying out the game and feeling.
It's like 2 girls are sitting at the edge of the table and, we're having so much fun. I'm visiting your tavern, you're visiting my tavern.
I didn't even, it's like, because I was sharing the taverns with her. I was visiting my tavern, not yours. But anyway, here's the funny thing. Like, 2/3 of the game were done, and he was saying, "This is because at that point you get frustrated. You do. I totally get it.
Mostly because if you don't have any money, it feels like you cannot do much. All those dignitaries
or anything at all
require money. You cannot get new property. You cannot get any favors or stuff like that. So that was kind of I have another, and then to make things worse, the customers that were left here were also customers who did not match with the remaining colors I had here. So I couldn't even. So I had I could move them into one of their taverns to at least get some popularity with some of those folks there, or I could put them in my tavern, but then I would just get the money, and we already said those 2 coins aren't really gonna cut it.
Yeah. He was saying, this is and we said, okay, come on, we're gonna finish the game, then we're gonna analyze it, and we were he was not far behind to the point that he was at 4 and we were at 50, but you were like a good 15 points behind us at that stage. So we said, okay, we're gonna finish the game, just play and these 2 remaining rounds, and then we're gonna analyze and see. Now here comes the surprising part, and also we need to change battery. Okay, new water, and we were changing battery. I forgot what I said last. Oh yeah, so he was like 15 points behind us, and we just finished the last 2 rounds, played normally, and then we came to the end scoring. And that is the point where I tell you, if you play it and you feel like you're so far behind on the victory point drink, and you almost want to give up, don't. Because what happened in end scoring is he was super lucky with the king's favors, with what he could choose as the scoring token, and he won. Not by like 15 points, but he won.
Yeah, so we were really close together.
Really close together, but you made it. It's like, I don't know what you did there, Speedy Gonzalez or something. Remember.
It's been quite a time since
it's been last year since we had the first game.
The first time, but I think no, I didn't collect these because I spent these purposely to actually be able to utilize one of those dignitaries.
It might have been the spells or whatever it was.
I think for one I tried really hard to be very popular and upgraded popularity wherever I could, and then got a ton of points through these tracks here. And then also had luck with the final scoring.
Yeah, so he actually could beat us, but depending on our mood and how bad he is with the picking jokes throughout the day, we sometimes consciously team up against him. But in this case, we hadn't. So it was kind of like when you were saying, so you team up and says, no, you give me your money, I give you my money, kind of things. I didn't realize until then that we were kind of keeping you out of there, and you were just like, existing on the board. That was not conscious, but. I was looking at it more Wednesday when we played the 2-player game, and I cannot. I can play around your taverns and try not to give you any money and anything, and it played less aggressive. I'd say we played super passive.
As I said, with 3 players, you have to run into each other with the properties, which is fine.
Totally fine.
In that we just had that constellation. So you could say, your mistake was to not try to get in there earlier. And maybe. But then again, it was also the first game. And then that said, I think...
What do you think?
I think we chose 3 different taverns at the beginning, and then you 2 closed 2 off, and then immediately bought one with the notary on the first turn or something.
Yeah,
so
it was.
There wasn't much opportunity for me to actually get in there.
Right, exactly. But what I liked about the 2-player game is, and where I was having an eye on while we played, is how well you have enough space with the taverns on the board to really not get in the way of each other.
You can get rid of all your property.
Right,
problems.
but what we also, what I also looked at, what you were doing, and you playing so differently from me. You were playing way more with the spell cards than I did. I played with this harp symbol a lot. If you look at the taverns, there's 2 books, 2 beer, and only 1 of those. So I always made sure. In the beginning, I made sure that I had my cube in this tavern, both of the games, because just intuitively, pretty much, I said, okay, this is only once there. Yeah, it's the biggest tavern. I probably have to share, but this has like the circles that have 2 colors and stuff. So I was making sure that I had my cube in that tavern in the beginning, and I looked at where you would go. Would you maybe go more like for the beer or for the book, or would you go 1 cube here, 1 cube here? And you said you did. He went here, but then he said, "Oh fuck! Oh, excuse my French. I did not drink." Yeah.
Maybe you're forgetting this. So drink something that makes you forget.
I did not look at the signs down here, and that was kind of surprising to me. I thought you would, choose 1 here, 1 book, one beer on purpose, but you were somewhere else with your thoughts while you did put your cubes down. I was kind of surprised by that, but it worked out in the end. I did win, but only
1 point.
1 point, right? Which is so bad.
And I'm still not sure if we counted those.
Oh, we counted super correctly. We counted twice.
Those little tokens here correctly.
Yes,
at the end.
we did.
I'm not so
just
sure.
1 point. It's the first time I won this game.
Yes. I'm not going to take this from you, but it's been surprisingly
close,
right? the games we've played ended up being pretty close for how convoluted and crazy the game happens to be from time to time.
And while you're scoring, you're way further apart during the game, and then you end up at pretty much the same spot in the end. That was surprising, and it felt very, very tense while playing.
It's like almost by accident. If someone pushes you out of a way to score the game, you kind of inadvertently get the other scoring opportunities because there's nothing else for you to do. But that is then if you keep doing that, or if you keep getting pushed into that, you will suddenly end up with a lot of points
as well. Yeah.
For example, so in this game we played, I wanted to focus on 2 things. One was using spells as much as possible and upgrading the taverns, because that is actually a really good value. It just costs 5 gold for both of them, gives you 6 coins, gives you 6 victory points, drink. And also upgrades every customer who's coming in there, so that you can use all the additional icons on there, which is pretty cool.
One little gimmick, I don't know if you showed them while I was banging the broom service against the virtual reality headset back there when I got lots of... Did you show the tab where you have the reference thing?
No, because
is it a special thing?
Yeah, that's an Essen promo thing. So the game comes with... Because
I actually like the cards a little bit better.
With these reference cards, and they're kind of double-sided, so you have these. And they gave out coasters for the game at Essen, which, it's
way more difficult to read at one point.
The print is a little bit blurry, so I wouldn't go out of my way to try to pick them up. They're not the super rare promo you've been looking for.
No. But I drink. All in all, I think we had a nice time at the table, right? So shall we wrap up and you will guess what Tina and I will paint next week? Okay.
Let me drink first.
So, drink first.
Is it something with victory points?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm starting to think.
So for all of you new subscribers that are probably watching this Gamers Coach first time, maybe, like I said, welcome. Here's the explanation. So we do not only play board games, lots and lots, but Tina, who's a very good friend, and we do paint them. So we paint kind of like fan art or our experiences at the table with a certain board game. Every Wednesday there's a new video at 9 a.m. CET on this channel. And every Sunday before that Wednesday, he will guess what kind of a game it is, what the exact game is, and he's usually hilarious. And then you can guess with him what game it is that we're gonna paint next week. So let me give you some hints.
So I already know it's about victory points.
Yeah.
Is it also in conjunction with or in the theme similar to this? Has it to do with drinking?
No.
Okay. Maybe now you can.
Okay. So there's people with funny hats that do travel throughout the lands in different kinds of ways to collect and sell something that is very high in vitamins and minerals and iron.
No, they're beer pickers.
No. Well, if this would be a German show, I could say, yeah, kind of. But this is an English show, so I cannot say yes, because the word is not working in English.
So surely it must be broom service.
No, it's not. We already painted broom service, you know that.
Who is else traveling across the land picking stuff up that's high? Bamboo, probably, so it could be Takenoko.
We already painted Takenoko.
It could be Taverna, because they're also traveling around and picking things up.
We haven't played it with Tina yet. She has no experiences with that game yet.
It could be Orleans.
No, it's not, because we painted that, and it's called Orleans. Make an effort.
Only the new one.
No, you cannot see it in this shelf, but it is in this shelf, just lower.
I'm pretty sure I know what game it is.
Can you whisper?
It's
Careless whisper? No, not the Peter Dinklage. That was the melody.
What?
I don't like it.
I just räuspert myself. German lesson of the day. Räuspering.
But it was the Peter Dinklage.
Not coughing, so. It's Husten. But räuspern.
Not. Don't mix it up with Houston, which is a city. So, which game? What do you think?
I think you know which game. I mean,
yeah, you did. You did do the Peter Dinklage on purpose. I don't like you.
A game about a game about a game, and do you know which game? I don't feel bad if you don't, because it's actually quite obscure. There's a very limited amount of them around, and we talked about it on this show.
And it's going to be linked in the video that will come up on Wednesday.
Yes.
So I'm just trying to...
What?
No, I cannot. It would be too much of a hint. So I'm sorry, folks. Have fun, everybody. Have a lovely Sunday. Have a lovely weekend. Good start into the week, depending on when you're going to watch it. Come back on Wednesday to see Tina and I paint. Not Pina and I taint. That's wrong. We're gonna, show you on Wednesday what we're doing with the artworks for the game. Also come back next Sunday where him and we talk about a different board game and show you parts of our collection there and give you very, very, very valuable opinions and thoughts.
The valuablest of opinions.
Yeah.
They're
so important.
That's the superlative of valuable, right?
I know.
The most
valuable.
Totally.
Now I have a knot in my tongue. Can you untangle? Anyway, have fun, folks. Do all the good YouTube stuff. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want somebody else to see it, share it with a friend or your parents, children, neighbors, whatever.
Drinking buddies.
Now get sober or go pee because you had tons of water because of the drinking game. And if you're new to the channel and find us as weird and hilarious as we probably maybe kind of are, well, subscribe. We'd love you as a new subscriber. Welcome to the Weirdos.
With that, goodbye.
Bye.
Victory points.
Drink.